guys, what's up? Oh, whoops, that's my mic. All right, guys, what's up? I am back. I intended to start streaming an hour ago, but I'm just a little exhausted today, and I have a lot to get done. So, without further ado, I'm going to get into the PSAT and MSQT, which is the National Merit Scholar Qualifying Test. Practice test number 1, which you can find on the College Board website or also in the links in the description below. I have links to, I have two different links, one to a Reddit site and one to a blog by a tutoring agency, and they have a bunch of PDFs. You can also just look for it, the PSAT practice test number 1. Now, I'm going to get right into it, but before that, I want to do my usual strategy recap just to remind people, the way that I take the test. There are two big things that distinguish or that differentiate the way I take the test from what you may have heard in other contexts, okay? The first thing is that you might notice I read probably slower than you, like surprisingly slowly, okay? So that's the first thing. I read the passage first and I take my time reading it. I don't rush the reading. Even if I feel like I'm falling, a little behind on time, I don't rush the reading part of it, okay? And then after I read, the other big difference that you might notice is that I kind of just predict the answers without looking at the answer choices. That is, I don't go straight into process elimination. I think that process elimination can be a massive waste of time for very little benefit. So I tend to avoid process elimination until I really need it. So you'll see, and I even try to verbalize it as much as possible, but I'm going to be reading the question stems and I'm going to be trying to get the right answer right away without going through process elimination. I think those are really the two big main differences in my strategy. And you can be the judge of whether it's a good strategy or not by watching how I actually apply it. All right, so that's my strategy recap. You're free to ask me any questions that you have when I'm doing the stream. But I will reserve the right not to answer any questions that are not about the passage or that are hard to answer until the end of the test. I'm going to be focusing primarily on finishing this test. All right, well, that's that for the introductory talk. Let's get into the passage itself, or the test itself, I mean. And we're about to start. It is my very first time seeing these. Hang on, have I seen this before? Vaguely feel like I have seen this before, but is it just because I've seen Emma before, or is this... Let me check some of the science passages. Don't remember that. Don't remember this. Don't remember that. Hang on. So I don't think I've seen this before, but yeah, maybe I'm just going a little crazy. Okay. I'm pretty sure I've never seen this test before. It should be my first time ever taking the test. So you'll see how I do for real. Not like some artificial version where I'm pretending not to know, but like really, when I don't know. When I do not know the answers, I do not know what the passages will say. This is the real deal. You guys can say hi to my girlfriend. She's working on a smart farm, is what we call it in Korean. I feel like it's called something else in English, but like a little thing to grow plants with like intelligent sensing and whatnot. So, this is our only office space, so we're just gonna be in this together. All right, so actually I ended up doing more introductory talk because of me suddenly thinking I maybe have seen this before, but no, I don't think I have. And Now we can actually get right into it. Here we go. So I set up my timer with guided access turned on so that the screen doesn't turn off, and I'm about to start. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Emma, 1815. Emma Woodhouse. Okay, kind of upper class. So she's gonna be nearly 21 years, but now she's gonna be distressed and vexed. She's the youngest of 2 daughters of an affectionate and indulgent father, and had, in consequence, been mistress of his house from an early period. Mother died too long ago. Okay, they had a governess. She was almost as good as a mother in terms of affection. So she lived well. Oh, now we're giving the governess her name. She's like a friend. But particularly, she's fond particularly of Emma. More than sisters. She's not an authority figure. They've been living together as friends, very mutually attached. Directed by her own. Okay, so so what's the problem? The real evils, indeed, of the situation. Too much her own way. A little too, okay, a little arrogant, a little inconsiderate. So unperceived that they did not, by any means, they are not a misfortune to her at all. Sorrow came. What kind of sorrow? Ah, Miss Taylor is now gone. She's lost. Now she's feeling sadness. No third. Only to sit and only to think what she had lost. Had every promise of happiness for a friend. Okay. Weston, the husband of the Taylor. Unexceptional character, easy fortune, suitable age, pleasant manners. Okay, he's a good guy. Overall, superficially speaking. But it was a black morning's work for her. It was very hard. She's trying to be happy for her friend, but she's very alone. The lack of Miss Taylor. Okay? Every hour. 16 years they were together. I'm at 340, by the way. Might as well write it. Equal footing. Perfect unreserved. Which followed Isabel's marriage. That was the best part. Friend and companion. Intelligent, well from usage on knowing all the ways. Interested. Yourself. The closest, like a best friend. Like a best friend. How was she going to change? How? Only half a mile. A Mrs. Weston and a Miss Taylor in the house. That's a good that's a good yeah, that's a good parallel like comparison. Intellectual solitude. This was hinted at, but this is my first time really genuinely noticing it. He was no companion. No no rational. Okay. Not okay. That's cool. We get the intellectual conversations as well. He's an older man in ways than in years in his habits. Okay. So like the fact that he's much older made it much worse, not because of his actual age, but because of the way he carries himself. Okay, stop. I'm at 6 minutes, and here I'm gonna do my map of the passage where I recall everything from top to bottom, left to right, just from memory. And then I will grade my map of the passage based on how well I think I did. You guys should always do the same for yourselves when you're practicing a test. Practicing reading comprehension, I mean. So, starting at the top left, Emma grew up handsome, gentle, happy, something like that, right? Emma Woodhouse, she grew up 21 years, very few things to distress her, very few things to vex her or vex or distress her. Okay, that's the whole first paragraph, basically, top left. Uh, Now, she did lose her mother a very long time ago, and her sister had gotten married quite a bit ago as well. Later on, it turns out 7 years ago. Um, so she had been mistress of the house for her father, Mr. Woodhouse. I don't remember if he has a first name. Okay, and then let's try. However, there was a governess who took the place of the mother and was as good as a mother in terms was almost as good as a mother in terms of affection. I'm kind of mismatching some of the ordering of these sentences, but it's all in the same paragraph, and these are all the ideas that are in that paragraph. Turns out, so now we're at the bottom of the left column. They're basically best friends. They're like really, really close. They're more than friends, is what it says. Okay, I think that's the bottom left. I'm kind of fuzzy on that part. And so we're going to move on to the top right. And the top right is it the bottom left or the top right where it talks about her marriage? And she had never known sorrow. Oh, before sorrow, there's some other unpleasant feeling that we talked, but I forget what that was. So at the very top, like the very bottom left and top right, I forgot. And then right after the top right, there's like a new paragraph where we talk about sorrow. And the first sorrow is after 21 years, right? Her first real sorrow is when her friend, Miss Taylor, the governess who was older than her, right? The one who took care of her and everything, she is to get married. Okay, and she's getting married, and now it's only her, Emma, and her father at the dining table without a third person there with her. Oh man, I'm actually mixing up the ordering. I don't remember the sequence anymore. And one thing is, there's this part, and I don't remember if this is the right bottom or if it's like the third column. I don't remember it, but there's this part where it talks about how, man, the husband for Miss Taylor is such a great person. You know, all these characteristics, good, unexceptional character, and dot 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 dot. He has all these things, and it's true. He's only like, Yet she's really not happy, something like that. Okay. There's this other part where it talks about how Emma. This must be the bottom left actually, but it talks about how Emma, had been. Oh, is it the bottom right where Emma had been like, where Miss Taylor had kind of taken care of her through health and sickness and everything, and then in the top of the third column it talks about how they became more than that, especially in the last 7 years, right? Um, when the when the older sister got married off, and then they could like completely, she would completely know every interest, every concern, every plan that Emma had. They were like super super tight, and now she was intelligent, right? And now she's gone, and now she's stuck with her father, and her father is not a very good conversation partner because he's not like yeah, he's not an intellectual conversational partner for Emma. Something like that. It's all sort of garbled right now, the sequence of it, but I feel like I'm getting all the main points. And then the last paragraph in the third column, it talks about how the father, he's a friendly guy, he's an amiable person, but he kind of complains about his health all the time, which makes him seem a lot older than he actually is, which makes her age disparity with him feel really big, just like really really big, like there's no connection with her father. So there's this kind of bitter contrast between the governess Miss Taylor and the father, and that's kind of the end of that story. The Now that was my map of the passage. I'm gonna grade my map of the passage, and I would say it's like honestly I got a lot of the details, but I didn't get like the flow. I didn't get the flow. The sequence of it was all messed up. So I would say something like the details were pretty good though. Like I kind of got all the I feel like I got almost all the details, so it's like B plus. This almost rarely happens. It's very uncommon for me to get all the details but not the flow. Usually it's the other way around. So that's kind of interesting to me. Anyway, I'm gonna give myself a B plus for that. And let's move on now to the questions. I suspect that I should still be able to do quite a bit of no look answers. Like I should be able to answer some questions without even looking at the passage, just because I did get the gist of everything. All right, let's go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. The main purpose of the passage is to focus on like a character that she loses, a character mourning the loss of another character. Personality flaws, no. Okay, a main character and a significant change. Yes, this is so neutral but true. Overly neutral, very very abstract and neutral, but very true. It's a huge change. The change is that she got married. That her best friend got married. The first 2 paragraphs, okay. She was a happy girl with not a lot of even though she is happily raised. Yeah, A is basically right. Oh, and this is an interesting question. It's not the kind of question I've seen in SATs. It's interesting. Okay. That was a no-look answer. I got 2 no-look answers. The narrator indicates that the particular nature of the upbringing resulted in being generally happy, self-satisfied. Okay, that's also there, because that's the top right. The danger, I'm pretty sure it's this one. 34. The real danger was... Oh, no. It's the previous one. Think a little too well of herself. Okay? That's 30. Her situation made her think a little too well of herself. That's 30. Okay, so that was my first no-look answer. All the other ones were no-looks. I keep forgetting to mark these. These are all no-looks. This is making me waste like 10 seconds. Okay. Directed, 26. What direct Emma was directed by her own judgment. Emma was guided by her own judgment. 54, a lack. I actually remember that. This is me showing off. I already know it. I'm showing off right now. On the real test I would definitely go back and check, but I'm showing off for the stream, for the views, for the likes, for the subscribes. Hit that button right now. All right. It can most reasonably be inferred that after Miss Taylor married, she had less contact with Emma. Yep. I was just, yeah, you know what? I literally just zoned out for a second, and that's why it took me so long. That's a no-look answer. Less contact with the, I think that one comparison over here. Where's the comparison? I guess 74 to 76 kind of works. Also 79, the intellectual solitude, kind of works. But yeah, the fact that like my map is so bad means that I have to actually scan. I have to scan. Oh, 54, 55 is actually probably better. 54, 55 is probably the best, actually. Let's go find it. Oh, 54, 55 is not there. 47, 48. Let's look at 47, 48. Nope, that would not work. Okay. 60. But the inner core sequence was yet. No, that would not work. 70 to 79 must be it. Yeah, that's the one I was talking about earlier. And it took a little too long. But you know, what am I to do? Which situation is most similar to the one described in 83 to 91? When somebody is old and the way he talks makes him feel even older. Because the younger one? That's kind of the wrong focus. Remain close, no. The actual age difference becomes a problem? No. I guess this is the closest one. Yeah. Magnified. 10:55. Continuing to the next passage. Let's go. Dispatches from the social structured world. What the hell? Okay, we're talking about something in the future. Soviet Union, the gap between what they saw in stores and homes. An informal economy driven by relationships. Okay, that's okay. Nice, nice. They didn't plot these networks. No one taught them these networks. They evolved. Instead, they evolved naturally, out of necessity. Ooh, different shift. Okay, so all around the world, we're seeing a new kind of network of relationship and economics. A new kind of network of relationship and economics emerging. Filling the gaps. Creating new products empowered by. One of the reasons is they're empowered by computing communication technologies. They're inherently social and personal. Okay. Gain direct access to worldwide community. Help us create communities. We can check their reputations. So our economic transitions are no longer anonymous. Look up their friends. Right. Watch their YouTube videos. Okay, yeah. Social media, people's advice. Okay, yeah. That's just like this. That's just like my YouTube. We no longer have to rely on our bankers. Raise funds directly through like Kickstarter and stuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so we're gonna give social structing away from the depersonalized world of institutional production, a new economy around social connections and social rewards. Okay, this is other people's definitions. Also, changing every domain from finance and education to health. Not only a new kind of economy, but a new kind of society. What the heck, man? I feel like it's so long and just... Come on. We're just making a bunch of... I wish there was more like data or something. It's just a bunch of like prophesying about the future. These are some negative words. How about how disruptive these things are? And that, I guess that changes how society is. Oh, whoops! I misread this part. How much of how distance us from the benefits of quality social time. Okay. Okay, 1555. Stop. I'm gonna keep going. I need to read the chart. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Hey Anish, what's up? I was very distracted reading the passage. Very distracted reading the passage. I'll be right back. Let me focus on this chart for a second. The following graph from 2011 report projects trends in digital information use. Okay. Information created and shared, and it goes up. Okay. And it's even exponential looking. And zettabyte, that's like a lot. Stop. Okay. And now here's my map of the passage. Anish, I'm just going to go and do what I normally do with my map of the passage first, and I'll quickly... Actually, you have a very quick question. Do I teach SAT? Yes, I answer that. And what do I think about speed reading? I think it's bullshit. Those are my fast answers. Those are my speed answers. Okay. Now, here's my map of the passage. Here's my map of the passage. Everything... It's literally my first time reading it. Let me try it right now. 3 columns. Here we go. Shoot. We start with the Soviet Union, which is a fun and interesting example. It starts by talking about like people are always surprised when they go to the Soviet Union. They see a gap between what they see in the stores because the stores are like empty and they have all these garbage that no one wants to buy, and then what they see in the houses. The houses are full of rich items that somehow they procured, that these families are actually, making a living that like works for them. And it was like, how did they do that? Well, that's because there was an organic sort of informal economy that sprung up around actual need. Okay, and that is basically the whole first paragraph. I almost like am quoting that paragraph. I'm killing that paragraph. I'm so good with that paragraph right now. So that was the first paragraph. That's the top right of that page. After that, it goes into, well, we're analogizing to the modern world now. Well, we're ever since thanks to the technology. Oh, now this I think this is actually 2 paragraphs right now. I'm about to clump these 2 paragraphs into one because it's actually not very clearly separated in my head. But this is still the first column. It says, well, thanks to the technologies of the communication technologies and computer and communication technologies that have risen over the last couple decades or whatever, this kind of informal organic network is now being kind of, I guess, spread throughout the whole world, something like that. Okay? And it talks about it, and there's probably some details I'm missing, but that's the middle part of that column. Now, at the bottom of the column, now we get a bunch of examples. We get and so that's how you can get like recommendations for a shoe person in Brazil, and like a programmer in India, and the this and the that, and the this and the that, like the teachers and educators. I don't know what it is, but there's a bunch of examples at the bottom of that first column. Then the next page, the second column, next page, top left, we continue with the examples, and then we say something like, and now this is where I'm getting fuzzy. He, she, this has lots and lots of. Now, this is honestly the part of the passage where I was like, it's getting repetitive. I have no idea where this is going. But we give the name for it. I think the name. This is at the top left of the new page, of the second page. I think she or he. I think it's a she for some reason. I keep thinking the author's a she. I'm gonna keep saying she for now. Maybe I'm wrong. But she seems to be saying something like, "This is what I call social structing," because now it's not. We're moving away from institutional sources of like transactions, because we are. Oh, by the way, this is at the bottom right, and this is the part that I skipped. But earlier it says something about how we can form like social. It's like there's like a purely social thing where we can like check people's Facebooks and check their reputation and blah 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 blah. There's this whole idea of being social, and so now at the top left we no longer have to go through institutions. We can on our own we can form these relationships, and she calls this social structing. It's also called peer-to-peer by other people and blah blah blah. And then it moves on to talking all about the potential impact of social structing. Social structuring has the power to, and literally the bottom left of that column and the entire right column it just constantly repeats itself. Like, the social structuring has the power to do this, and 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 the power to do this. That's basically my memory of the next two columns. Now, maybe I'm remembering it poorly, but it's roughly my memory of it. Okay, because the bottom left, it's like talking about, it's not just the economy, it's also society. It's also societies, and then it says all this stuff. And then in the top right, it says like it's and then with the society, because of that, like you have it's like disruptors who can like. She doesn't use the word disruptors, but she like talks about all these people who can just like now just a couple hackers can like overturn a whole system or something like that, and blah 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 blah, and then people can like make things on their own and blah blah blah, something like that. It's all, honestly, it sounds very jargonese to me, and I don't really remember the details. I just know where the details are. I know where they are. It's all sort of fuzzy, but I know exactly where they are. And then at the end of the third column, she says, there are some concerns that, mainly people are complaining about how we're losing touch with like face-to-face interactions, the personal touch. But that really de-emphasizes too much how much power that social structuring has to like help people create and invent and connect and blah, blah, blah. And that's that conclusion. Whew, that's my map of the passage. If I could grade my map of the passage, or Anisha, I'll answer your question in just a second. If I could grade my map of the passage, I would give it a. I got the overall flow and I got the overall structure. I kind of know where everything is. I know where everything is. The problem is I don't remember a lot of the details, so I cannot give myself an A minus. So I'm going to give myself a B plus. So that's a B plus map of the passage. Okay. So Anish, just to answer your question, I am not trying to recall the whole passage for the questions. I'm recalling the whole passage for you, for my viewers, because I want my viewers to realize how much I remember, and I want them to compare how much they remember after reading the passage only once in their lives. Okay, and this is just a test, a way to benchmark how much you are improving at your reading. The better you are at reading, the more you will remember. Okay, speed reading is garbage because you will not remember anything. It's true. It's true. There's this very Woody Allen. He read War and Peace in one day, and his summary, because he was using these new techniques called speed reading, and this was his summary. It was about Russia. And that's a joke, but like that's basically the problem with speed reading is you're not going to remember anything. Okay, it's not actually reading. It's just it's flipping pages really fast, and it makes you feel good because now you can say that you're done with the book and that you don't have to look at the book anymore. And I think that's a valuable thing. You know, if you have a bunch of books on your table, on your desk, and it's giving you a lot of guilt, it's good to find some way of getting rid of that guilt so that you can move on with your life. I think it's therapeutic, but I don't think it's actually reading in terms of being able to hold conversations about it or answer SAT questions about it. So if your goal is to clear the book off your shelf, that's pretty good. Speed reading is amazing. If your goal is to have intellectual conversations with people who have PhDs on the same subject as you, you're gonna fail. If your goal is to get an 800 on the SAT, you're also gonna fail. Speed reading is not gonna make it work for you. At least that's my belief. And if you watch any of my other streams, you'll notice this. I almost certainly read slower than you. Okay, go and compare yourself. Okay, with any of the other practice tests that I have out on stream, or even this one. I almost certainly read slower than you, and I almost certainly have a higher score than you. Okay, because so you should go and you should check it. Kids all think they have to read faster. It's almost certainly wrong what you are thinking. Now it really depends on. Every kid is different, so maybe you actually do read slower than me, and maybe you really do get a better score than me. But every kid is different. But statistically speaking, most kids, they read faster than me, and they get a worse score than me. Okay, now I'm going to go into the questions. Here we go. I'm going to start time again. I'm at 16 minutes and 15 seconds. Did I need to answer some other question? Oh, writing section. I'm sorry. I'm going to avoid writing section questions until the end of this stream. I want to finish this practice test first. So writing section questions. Also, general questions about increasing reading score. I have a bunch of resources right now out there. You know what? If you want to have something to read, you can just read this. But I cannot give you... I need to finish this test tonight. So I'm not going to spend too much time answering. But you can... You can read through some old FAQs if you want. I just need to find the link first. Give me a sec. Okay. Honestly, this is not going to be easy to read because there's so many FAQs. There's but you know what? It's a place to start. Oh wait, is this the wrong link? Yeah, that's probably the wrong link. This is the right link. Okay. So if you can... it's a lot, honestly. It's a lot. But browse around, and once you kind of get a sense of how my style is, because I have a lot of streams, once you get a sense, I can... And once I finish this test, I can answer your questions. If you're still around. This stream's probably going to take me a full... it's going to take me a little bit of time. All right, let's go. I'm at 16:15. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Line 10, plot. They didn't plan how they didn't discuss in advance and plan. Yep, plan. 16:30. The reference to Shoemaker, the programmer, the Apple farmer, primarily serves to emphasize how you can find these people online through the internet. Broad reach of technologies to connect people. Correct. 1640, that was a no-look answer. No-look answer, and that only took me 10 seconds. The passage's discussion of life in the Soviet Union in the 1960s and 70s primarily serves to emphasize how naturally people find their own economies. Concept of social... Maybe? No, not technology. No, that between other countries. Examining, no, emphasize, no. Okay, yeah, social networking, it's honestly kind of a iffy word for it, but that was a no-look answer. I had to go through process elimination for that one, but yeah, that was a no-look answer. That took me 30 seconds only. 45, post most nearly means, okay, I don't remember that. They can post, they can upload, they can write, they can share, they can publish. Yep. 17:35. That was 25 seconds. That was a little longer than I needed to take. The author indicates that in comparison to individuals, traditional organizations tended to be more rigid socially. Let me see. Less reliable, less interconnected, less efficient, more expensive. Don't remember this one, so let's go find it. Traditional organizations come out around here, I think. Okay, traditional organizations. Hang on. Where are we getting traditional organizations? Individuals, empowered technology, social network can take off functions that only often more efficiently, so like at lower cost and no cost at all, with much greater ease. Okay, so traditional organizations or large organizations are not efficient and they have a hard time. Large firms can be displaced by hackers and weaks, and they're threatened by it's traditional organizations. Well, the opportunity. So they're slow and inefficient is the general vibe. Ooh, is that the right answer? I feel larger. Okay. More less reliable. Okay, so I'm gonna go with the 66 to 72. 66 to 72. Let's look at 66 to 72. Individuals. 66 to 72 is not bad, and I feel like all the other ones will not really help. But I gotta do process elimination for this one because this one's really tough for me. Nope, that's not gonna work. 22 does not work. 40 probably does not work, but let's just double check. Yeah, that doesn't work. 47 doesn't work. So this is like what I don't want to do, right? This is what the worst case scenario. Yeah, that doesn't help at. Oh wait, hang on. What? Depersonalized world? It's dominant and depersonalized. Dominant and depersonalized. Dominant and okay, but that doesn't defend. Yeah, that doesn't defend. So D is correct. Woo! 1955. That took me a while, huh? That took me 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Whew, for those two questions. Rough. That's a painful one. Recognize counterarguments to the position by, hang on, acknowledging the risks and drawbacks. She acknowledges it, but she also says that, oh no, may prove to outweigh. No. Spend too much time on product. That's, yeah, this is correct because this is at the very bottom. Okay, those are important concerns, and there are some risks. Okay, I'm gonna go with my gut feeling there. I'm pretty confident with that. All the other ones are off topic, so I'm gonna move. Oh my god, previous topic. Okay, so 85 to 87. Let's check. Okay, nope, that's not correct. Let's look at 79 to 84. Okay, I hate doing process elimination. I hate it. Okay, that doesn't work. 74 to 76. Okay, no. 35 to 30. 35 to 37. Yeah, that really doesn't work. It's weird. Because acknowledging it. I mean, that is the acknowledgement, but it's not like the best. I see. I feel iffy about this right now because something feels wrong with that answer choice. But I'm gonna move on. Don't have enough time. Which statement best summarizes the information in the graph? That we have way more. Yeah, way more information. I can do this as a no-look answer. 2145. Now I'm gonna just double check. Almost 8 zettabytes in 2015. We don't know what this E means, but it does seem like a. Okay, the volume created and shared increased tremendously in recent years. Is true. Now, what does this E mean? E means estimated. 1 zettabyte. The problem is the word likely. (2005 to 2011) are real. 2005 to 2000. Oh, but it's only gone from. So here we're no longer real. From 2 to 8 is all projections. But we're summarizing, so okay, we're summarizing. Summarizing, I actually lost track. So now I didn't do a no-look answer. I'm not doing that great on this one, huh? I am not doing that great on this one. According to graph, which statement is true about the 2012? We don't actually know if 2012 is a. Oh, this is a 2011 report. It's a 2011 report, so it's a. In 2012, that's when we start making projections. Okay, in 2012 we're making projections. New is a little weird. Not to peak. 2 for the first time sounds about right. Yep. And that's 24 exactly. Stop. Oh no, not stop. Continue. Third passage. Now I'm looking at. Oh, my stream's not doing well. What's going on? It's functional, right? No, it's very laggy. I'm gonna stop the time. I'm stopping time to try to figure out what's happening with the stream. Something's very laggy. What's making this laggy? Okay. Something. Yeah, it's a little bit of lag. What? Yeah, man, what is making this happen? Give me a sec, guys. I'm trying to figure out. It's using. Are you saying not lagging on your side, or are you saying lagging? I'm not sure what you mean. But I am missing a lot of frames right now. That doesn't usually happen. I'm kind of confused. I'm gonna check physical temperature. Give me a sec. Okay. All right. You know what? I'm pretty sure it's a heat matter. It's a heat management problem. So I think it should be fixing itself in the next. Hopefully, it should fix itself in the next like 30 seconds or a minute. By the way, that's my girlfriend. That's just we share this office because we don't live in a mansion. So that's if I become super huge on YouTube, then I'll thank you guys for helping me move into a mansion. Until then, just say hi to my girlfriend. All right. I actually think the frame rates are much better now. I think it's much better. I think the heat management is being fixed. So, yeah, I'm going to continue now. All right, third passage, technical issues resolved. 3, 2, 1, let's go. I'm at 24 minutes and 15 seconds. I took 15 seconds. Lessons from the torpid, from the lazy. Is that what yeah, the lazy. The hibernators, they're lazy, including the squirrels, marmots, bears. Okay, naps may offer solutions for problems. Okay, cool. The way a body works changes when it hibernates, and starting from weeks or months in advance. Okay, first order of business is fattening. Okay. This is a fairly easy passage so far. Fat is where it's at for the hibernator. 13 line, own lunch with you. Packing lunch is necessary because the girl in the strict. Okay. They have their last supper in October and they don't eat again until March. Okay, this is pretty easy stuff. You should know this if you were a curious middle schooler. Okay. Bears. We're specifically talking about bears. We weren't here. We're talking about squirrels, but now we're talking about bears. Frobert is about bears. 40 kilograms of blueberries a day. Whoa, that's a lot, yo. Such gluttony among humans would have severe consequences, right? It's like a random joke. Okay, they gave off signals. Okay. Right. Hibernating, so use darts. Okay. To tranquilize. Okay. I'm at 2610. Once a bear is under the tranquilizer influence, they have 60 minutes max to get the animal from the den, weigh, measure samples. They're analyzing. The bears return to den by minute 61. That's very intense sounding. Okay. Pressure materials, okay, collected, need to be analyzed within 24 hours. So often test for levels. Wow, we're going all in on the bears right now. I didn't realize we're just going all in on the bears. Sometimes flies samples in order to meet the light. Right? That's how intense it is. Okay, it's very sensitive. They're testing it in the station or they're flying it in. That's how intense it is. Bears killed by hunters. So this is like a different source of bears. Scandinavian bears. Now we're still talking about Scandinavian bears, I think, over here, right? Yeah, Sweden. Okay. Spend the summer with plasma levels high for human. Okay, high. Levels very high. And then increase substantially for hibernation. Very, very fat. Zero exercise during hibernation. Duh. Sluggish circulation. Not be good for... So we keep making this joke, which is not really a joke. It's about how terrible it would be for humans. It'd be horrible for humans. Even healthy could develop fat issues and are less fat, but the bears don't build up artery hardening streaks. They had nothing. So how do they keep their arteries flexible with all this fat? Hopes to find some molecule, and maybe we can use that in... Aha! So that's an actual practical application, because that was honestly a lot of description of bears without a lot of... like, I kind of wanted to know why we're even researching this. And finally we get it at the very end. Maximum desirable level for humans. So this is very above. So even when they're active, it's still above. Okay, that's the main factor here. And then obviously during hibernation is much higher. So that's 28:30. Let me see if there's anything else to read. Nope. I can pause, and I'm going to do my map of the passage. Here we go. Whew. That was kind of a weird passage for me, but okay, from memory, let's go. Top left, we talk about there's many types of hibernators. There's like marmots and bears and squirrels and blah, blah, blah. And their bodies go through very radically different processes when they're hibernating. And the first step starts way like months in advance. They got to fatten up. Okay, my computer briefly should have spiked, but now it's normal. Okay, so they fatten up. Now, after that, now that's the top left of the page. Now we're going to the middle left of the page, and the first study is by a guy who studied like a dozen squirrels or something like that, and then he has all these details about the squirrels, and I literally forgot them all. But I do not remember those details. But it's the squirrel part is the middle. Now, bottom left, we get this Fromberg or something like that. There's some AF, or I think was his initials, AF, and he's the bear guy. He's like in Sweden, and he studied the hibernation patterns of bears. And then from here we go real deep into the bear study methodology and design. Okay, because what they did is they put these like GPS trackers. They're like tracking the bears from a distance because bears are scary and dangerous, right? And what they do is they and by the way, bears eat 40 kilograms of berries, by the way, to fatten up, which is like an insane number. So I just remember that randomly. And they're tracking it, and because they're dangerous, what you have to do is you have to tranquilize them, and then they're only asleep for 60 minutes. And so top right is talking about how you have to like collect all these samples in 60 minutes, and you have to bring them back to the den by 61 minutes, something crazy like that. And then after that, it talks about all those samples that you collected. You usually only have 24 hours to analyze them all. So you have people like camping out in their lab or whatever you call it. Their field lab. You have people like flying out on helicopters to analyze the samples within 24 hours. It's a crazy mad rush. And so that's the middle of the right column. And now we're getting towards the bottom of the right column, and I think there's some parts that I don't fully remember, and then it says something like, yeah, so we learn. So basically, there's all these like little jokes that I thought were jokes, but they're not really jokes. They're actually just a bunch of comparisons saying that this would be super unhealthy for human beings. This would be super unhealthy for human beings. Their levels of X are really too high for human beings. You'd be obese. You would have like this heart problems, blah, 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 all terrible for human beings. But that finally actually gets down to a point, and I was not ready for this point because this is like a weirdly organized, honestly for me, it was a weirdly organized passage. I didn't expect this organization. But by making all these references to all these bad things that would be horrible for human beings, at the very end, it comes out to finally a research motive, a research purpose, which is, hey, and these levels, they're sustained by these bears, and their arteries are still flexible. And you know what? That's kind of cool. And these researchers, they kind of want to know what makes the arteries flexible, even though the levels of these chemicals or whatever are way too high. Because if we knew that, then we could protect human arteries, which like came out of nowhere. I was not ready to understand the significance of the research that quickly in like literally like 2 sentences at the very end of the passage. Very strange that it came out that way. But that is my map of the passage. And honestly, this one, I missed some details, but I got the whole flow this time. So I will give myself a grade of I did miss some details though, and it kind of got jumbled, but honestly, it's pretty good. A minus or A? Maybe A minus. I'll just say A minus, just be conservative. I got an A minus. I'm going to give myself an A minus for that map of the passage. Now, what that means is because I remember so much, I should be able to go to the questions and answer many of them without even looking back at the passage, just because I have it all in my head. Now, obviously, this is not easy to do for most people, right? But I want to show you the benefit of taking your time and reading. Okay, so here we go. I mean, we'll see how well I actually do. It might be just like the previous passage. The previous passage I actually struggled, so I might have to eat my words. But this is my strategy for real. You're seeing me with all the struggles included. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Oops. Okay. So, oh my God, this clumsy. Something's not working. Written from the perspective of someone who is interested in the research of these people into hibernators. Okay. Actively involved? Maybe. Recent? Nope. Knowledgeable about advances in hibernator research? Yes, that was what I was looking for. And advocate for preservation? No. And involved is the only part. I cannot do a no-look answer for this one. I have to double check. You know what? Society for Science and the Public. You know, I'm gonna go with yeah, knowledgeable. 2920. Okay. Reasonable to conclude that the main goal of the scientists conducting the research described in the passage is to identify the reasons that they are able to have flexible exercise. No. Possible ways. Yes. Yes. Ooh, 42. That's not where I was expecting. Let's look at 42 and let's look at 31. I have to go process elimination because I was expecting this part over here at 75. I was not expecting 42. Oh, wrong page. What the heck just happened? 42. That doesn't help. Okay, it really doesn't help. Okay, 35. What? 31 to 35, I mean. Yeah, that doesn't work. That doesn't help with people. Where's 1? Okay, 1 through 5? 1 through 5, 1 through 5. Let's go to 1 through 5. Oh, Mace. Oh my god. I didn't even see that. Oh, I totally forgot that. I missed that in my map of the passage. Okay, my map of the passage was not A-. It was B+. Okay. What main effects do the quotations have on the tone of the passage? 10 through 18. Okay, it's illustrating the pre-hibernation process. It's illustrating the pre, and they're kind of the tone. Sorry, the tone. That's conversational, everyday language, packing lunch, everyday language. 31, 10. Stores 19. Bigger fat storage. Bigger fat reserves. Oh yeah, hell yeah, reserves. 31, 20. Based on the passage, what's hypothesis regarding why they do not harden? Why they do not harden? They must have some sort of chemical in it, right? That kind of prevents it. No, to be more flexible. That's nope. A molecule. Yeah. So I actually can do a no-look answer. I can. But I still have to look for it anyway. So 73 to 76. Yeah, 73 to 76, that's correct. I could, if I wanted to be showing off, I could have done a no-look answer, but that would have been a little risky. I think, because it's not realistic, I wouldn't have done that on the real test. Okay, 27. What information discussed in paragraph 10 is represented by the graph? The graph. What was the graph? Oh, right. It's that even at the active level, it's still above the maximum threshold. And what information is discussed? It's about how unhealthy it is, which is over here at the bottom somewhere. Plasma cholesterol, 59 through 60. 59 through 60, and 59 to 61. 59 to 61. Because this is plasma cholesterol. Yeah. 59 to 61, so that's over here. 32 to 40. I'm not going to double check the other ones. I do not do process elimination when I already know the answer. Which statement about the effect of hibernation on the 7 bears is best supported by the graph? It increases plasma. All achieve the desirable, nope, for human, nope. Lowest had the, okay, I'm going to check D right now. No, did not have the highest. Okay, so that's incorrect. Only one experienced a significant increase in total plasma. Only one of the bears then experienced an appreciable change. Okay, interesting. Was there one that was... Oh my god, that's weird. I didn't even see that line. What a strange bear, huh? 33, 35. And I think we're done with that one. Okay. Let's see how that goes. Fourth passage, here we go. Carnegie Wealth, 1889. Penniless in Pennsylvania from Scotland, 48. One of the richest people through manufactured steel. Okay, just background information. Cool. So he's somebody who went from rags to riches. The problem of our age is the proper administration of wealth. Okay, we have to administer it that the ties of brotherhood may still bind together. Oh, the rich and the poor in harmonious relationship. He cares about the inequality. Conditions of human life have not only changed but revolutionized. And so in former days, there was little difference between the dwelling, dress, and food of the chief and the retainers, right? Of the rich and the poor. The contrast between the palace and the cottage measures of change. This change is not to be deplored. Okay, this change, okay, this inequality is okay. Okay, that's interesting. Much better this great irregularity than universal squalor. Okay, without wealth there can be no Maecenas, which is, a patron of the arts. So we're talking about literary, civilizational, artistic achievement right now. The good old times were not good old times. Okay, this is an interesting extension of the argument, yeah. History is not that pretty. Okay. Whoa, that's not what I was expecting, okay? Okay. It's easy to see how the changes come. One illustration would serve for almost every phase of the cause. In the manufactured products... So we're talking about industrial history, which is interesting. I was not expecting that. So we're talking about the apprenticeship model right now. In the manufacturer products, we have the whole story. Formerly, manufactured at the hearth, small shops with this master and apprentices, okay? So this is the history. But the result of such a mode of manufacture was crude articles at high prices. Today, we get these commodities of excellent quality, and we have similar causes, and the races benefit thereby. The poor enjoy what the rich could not before afford. So we were saying, okay, now we're saying the overall pie is increasing. More comforts than the farmer, the laborer a few generations ago. And the farmer has more luxuries than the landlord had back in the day. We're all getting better. Okay, we're going to concession right now. We're conceding. Yes, the price is great. Hang on. Castes are formed. And then we get mutual distrust. And we lose sympathy for each other. And through competition, the employer becomes very, very strict with the money. And so that creates friction between the employer and the employed. Human society loses homogeneity, okay? So the price is not just the fact that we're all hurt. It's just that it's actually that society, our fabric of society is actually getting torn. Okay, the price is great, but the advantages are greater still. Interesting. I've actually never heard that argument before. What an interesting argument. Okay. 3735, and I'm going to go into my map of the passage. That was such a crazy argument. That was a crazy argument, Carnegie. Whoa. I was not expecting that at all. Okay. I actually think my map of the passage would be pretty good on this one because I was very interested the whole time. Plus, I'm generally better with literature and history than I am with science. So... okay, let's do it. Okay, very interesting argument. Okay, sorry, I was just distracted by how many loops I went for in that argument. I was very surprised the whole way. Okay, starting from the top. Top left, map of the passage. Carnegie goes like society is being kind of it's kind of being frayed because the rich and the poor, like, we're kind of like falling apart from each other, and it's this idea gets repeated at the bottom right, so I'm kind of mixing the two together. But basically, things aren't that great right now, okay, in society. So that's the top left, and I don't remember the specific details that he points to, okay? But then he says, yet, it is not all bad. In fact, we shouldn't look at it as a bad thing. Oh. And right before that, what's the it? He talks about how just comparing the homes between the rich and the poor from back in history to now, you can see that the inequality has increased. Okay, he says that at the top of the left column. And then after that, he says, yet this is not all that bad. And his first argument is, because this is the mark of achievement and civilization and art and literature and all these things, that when a society is advancing, that is what you get, that a few people will accrue to that. And then he calls this out Maecenas or something like that, this guy from Greece who was a great patron of the arts. So it's a very elitist view, by the way, and it would be a hard argument to sustain if you are like living in Brooklyn right now, hanging out with a bunch of like hipsters. It would be hard to make this argument, honestly, socially. It would be hard. So that was that argument right there. Then he says, at the bottom left, he talks about how this is actually progress. This is actually progress that we're able to do this. And at the bottom left, he starts going into a little bit of industrial history. Back in the day, the way that we manufacture things is that we would have people in their little small shops with the masters and the apprentices working side by side. And top right, okay, new column, top right, and the products of this relationship were expensive and not even that good. However, thanks to modern manufacturing, we've now been able to make products for everybody at much cheaper. So much so that people who used to be very, very poor back in the day, very rich back in the day, like landlords back in the day, even the poor today have better stuff compared to them. We all live better lives as a whole. So this is the whole pie is the size of the whole pie is increasing. Yes, your share of the pie might be decreasing, but the size of the whole pie is increasing. This is a very common idea that you should learn in economics. If you've not learned this yet, you're a little weak on the economics. Okay, you should learn this idea sooner rather than later. Okay, I'm not saying it's a right idea. It's just an idea that exists. By the way, I'm not taking a position on that idea, but it's an idea that exists. You should know about it. So that's his argument, and then he says. Everyone's like getting more wealthy, but there is a high price to pay. The price to pay is very high, and then there's a whole paragraph. This is the middle of the right side where he just talks about how people are becoming like the employers are competing with each other, and so they become really tight-fisted, and so we're all competing, and then the employees start hating the employers, and there's mutual distrust and mutual ignorance and blah blah blah, and it's a big old paragraph about how things are getting bad. That's the cost that's the price that we pay for all of this civilizational progress. And at the very last paragraph, and this is not like a super powerful persuasive conclusion, it's kind of like a mixed conclusion really. He says, yeah, the price is great, and yet the benefits are greater. And that's the conclusion. And that was my map of the passage. If I could give myself a grade for that map of the passage, I got some things kind of in backwards order. So the sequencing of some of the details were a little off, but the overall flow was exactly correct from what I remember. And I did get a lot of the details in there. Not A+ level though, because sometimes I'm basically quoting the whole passage. So I wouldn't give myself an A+, but I would definitely give myself an A on that one. Whereas the previous one, I gave myself A-, but I corrected it to B+ because I missed the whole first paragraph. So that was my map of the passage. Now I'm going to get into the questions. Here we go. Oh, by the way, I didn't even make a comment on time, but 33 minutes for the PSAT on 3 passages is actually a little, it's not amazing. On the real SAT, I'm taking a PSAT right now, which is out of 60. It's out of 60 minutes. So my timing honestly is not. I don't really know what the perfect timing is for a PSAT, but for the SAT, my general advice is after 3 passages, you want to be under 35 minutes. Because if you're under 35 minutes after 3 passages, then that means you have 30 minutes left for the remaining 2 passages. You want to finish sort of the easier passages for you in 35 minutes, okay? That breaks down to 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 13 minutes. If you add 10 plus 12 plus 13, that's 35 minutes. You're finishing those easier ones a little faster. Now you get 15 minutes each for the remainder, for the remaining 2. And hopefully you don't have to use 15 minutes each. Hopefully you're like, 13 and then 15, and then now you have 2 minutes left to go back and double check some questions. You want to be under 35 minutes after 3 passages. Okay, so the fact that I'm at 33 minutes, on the PSAT, which is not even 65 minutes, it's actually 60 minutes total. That's not great. That's not great, but I'm also not too pressured either. Okay? Because that's pretty similar to 35 minutes. All right, here we go. I'm at 37:35, and I'm about to go through the history passage. Let's see how many no-look answers I can get just based off of the map of the passage that I have in my head. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Which choice best describes the structure of the first paragraph? You know what? I don't remember. The structure of the first paragraph. Ooh, that's a long first paragraph. Okay. Oh, the first paragraph is he talks about problems in history. No, in the age, and then history, and then the much better is it, and then, okay. It's kind of a strange paragraph, honestly. Ooh, this answer choice is kind of strange, but I would stick with historical periods described, its attributes are reviewed. Is a position stated? Advice? What? Oh, that's correct. All of these are correct. Okay, that one was that's actually such a strangely organized paragraph that I needed time for that one. Most strongly implies which of the following about the ties of brotherhood? That they're fictitious, that they are not stronger, that they're more seriously strained in the present than the past. That's true. They're weakened. 39-10. Dwelling. So that's a no-look answer. Dwelling, dress, food, environment as examples of. Ooh, I don't remember this. Little difference. Okay, as examples of how in the past people would just, not really be that. Okay, that they would all kind of have the same level of comforts. Best. Oh, hang on, that makes no sense. Houses of some. The people who live in the houses of some are as interested. They're interested in what? I don't remember this line. Houses of some, the rich. Okay. For civilization. Okay. They're interested in art and achievement. The advantages of culture. Okay? That's art and achievement. So, I think that's this. 15, 16, let's check. Yep, that's shit. Okay, so that's 40, 10. Okay, that was 10 seconds for that. Uses the phrase good old times. Good old times were not the good old times. He's using it ironically. He used it paradoxically. No, not life and usefulness. No, not from his childhood. No. Who do not share his viewpoint. Okay. Yeah, the good old times. He disagrees that they were good old times. 40, 30. What's the author's main point about the disadvantage of the modern economic system? The disadvantage of the modern economic system is that the rich and the poor kind of hate each other. Only a few people. Okay, that kind of works. Material advantages. Advantage is kind of strange, but certain is off. Of culture is also kind of weird. Divisions between different categories is such a strange word. Strange word. Replicates is wrong. Divisions between categories is the closest one. But categories is such a weird word to use. Okay, the price we pay. And often there is friction between employer, employee, capital, labor. Okay, this is, I guess, the category. So 72 to 74. 72 to 74. And homogeneity, I guess, works. 72 to 74. So where are we right now? Yeah, 72, 74. Evidence is 72, 74. Oh my God, it's not even the evidence. 65 to 60. Rigid casts are formed. Oh, cast does give categories though. Does form. Rigid casts are formed. Oh my God, that sentence doesn't even include the end. The formed. Okay, then I have to go process elimination. 65, 66 doesn't sound right. 46, 47. Yo, what's wrong with these? I'm having a real hard time with the 37. Disadvantages of the modern economic system. It creates division between different categories of people. And the evidence here is all about the unity. So 30, that's really weird. It's not normally how you should defend the answer. Work side by side. Subject to 37 to 39 is about unity, right? 43 to 45 is about unity. 46 to 47 is completely off topic. And 65, 66 is about how they don't talk anymore. Oh my god, that is not good evidence, yo. But that's the only one that's remaining. Oh my god, that is not good evidence. I don't think that's a good answer choice. That took me so long. Ugh, dude. 43.25, that took me 3 minutes to get through those two questions. Oh my god, that was 82 in its train, in its wake. 82 in its wake, in its path, in its with it. So 43.50. Oh, annoying. These questions are so annoying. Okay, moving on. Moving on to the fifth passage. Here we go. Stuart Brand. The case for reviving extinct species. They missed the point. Okay. Same year. Their DNA is recoverable. We can bring them back to life. Why? For biodiversity, restoring ecosystems, prevention science, and undue harm. It's very romantic of him. 4520. The idea of bringing back gee whiz appeal. Okay, this is the romantic part. Okay. And a respite from steady stream of grim news. Yet, with okay. Resources and limited bandwidth. This is diverting attention from something more important, from a crisis. Are currently in danger, right? We have to focus on the real danger right now, the current danger. Species vanishing today. It's great numbers, hunting and habitat. 6th max extinction. Okay, on par with the ones that befell the dinosaurs 65 million years ago. It's a false promise that technology alone can solve our problems. Okay, it makes it feel like we have this technology as a panacea. We can just snap our fingers and bring it back. It's a false promise. This is an important argument. It's a separate argument. We have choices that are difficult. And we cannot, because we have to be realistic, we can't rescue them all. So it would be ridiculous, it would be costly and flamboyant to resuscitate extinct flora and fauna. And that would be irresponsible. Should we resurrect? That's actually a great example, by the way. Such a great example. Oh my god. Okay, concession. or qualification. De-extinction has merit. It could conceivably help save endangered species. For example, extinct version of genes could be reintroduced for like black-footed ferret. Okay. Preserving rather than conjuring from the grave. All right, we're framing it around preserving currently real endangered species. Okay, here is now my map of the passage for these two passages. All right, from my memory, top to bottom, left to right. Here we go. I'm just a little tired, but let's get through this. Okay, top left. There are some species that we should categorize, we should reclassify. Not just extinct, but bodily extinct, because they're not genetically extinct, something like that, okay? And then he goes on to explain. The thing is that even though they no longer physically exist, their DNA can be recovered, and we can feasibly bring them back up. Okay, that's the top. And then he moves on. Why should we do this? It's going to be very expensive. It's going to take a lot of time. Why should we do this? Because of many reasons. First is we can undo... Okay, I actually don't remember the order of the reasons, but we can undo some harm. We can learn about how to preserve the current species. We can do... some other couple practical things, and then at the very end he becomes very impractical and very romantic. And also there's this wonder, there's this awe, there's this amazing factor. It's just like, wow, it inspires you. Okay, and that is the end of that passage. We're in the middle of that column now. Now we're going to the bottom of the column. We're moving to passage 2, and passage 2 is like, well, there's this obvious gee whiz factor when you're trying to resuscitate old species. However, with the limited resources that we have, with the limited intellectual capability, bandwidth that we have, we should not divert attention away from current preservation efforts to do something whimsical and fanciful like saving old species that have already died. We should be focusing on currently endangered species. Okay, so that's the bottom left. Now, top right says, what does the top right say? I do not remember what the top right says. Very costly, very silly. I forgot what the top right says. Okay, I literally forgot what the top right says. And then maybe middle right. But middle right is basically the end of the passage. And so basically okay, you know what? I'm just going to go straight to the end because I no longer remember the middle. But at the end, he says, okay, that's not to say that resuscitating, like, it's not to say that the DNA, like, I forgot the name of it, but like trying to use their DNA to kind of like revive old species is a totally bad idea. Okay, what you could do is you could actually take the science there and apply it to reintroduce old extinct genes into currently struggling species, like this one rhinoceros or whatever. However, we should not be spending this time and effort on trying to resuscitate new species, old species. We should be trying to help the currently endangered species. That's the final point. Right before that, he was talking about should we try to bring back the woolly mammoth, or should we rather try to save the elephant? Right? That was a great example he's had. And before that, I don't remember what he said. So I literally do not remember the entire middle of the passage too. I completely forgot. Okay, so that's my map of the passage. It was still fairly easy passages, so I'm not unhappy with my map of the passage. It's also the 5th passage, so I am a little tired, so I can kind of forgive myself for it. But if I had to grade myself and be honest, my map of the passage was not a B level. It was definitely like C+ level. C+ just because I did get a lot of the details there, but except for some of the other details on the passage 1, like passage 2, I basically completely forgot the middle, so I only really remember the point of passage 2. I don't remember the content of passage 2. So my map of the passage was not so great for passage 2, although it was pretty detailed for passage 1. So I'm going to give myself a C+. You know what? Not even a C+, a C. I'll give myself C, and that was my map of the passage. Let's see how many questions I can answer, how quickly, using that map. All right, I'm at 47:35 on my watch, on my stop clock, on my stopwatch. I mean, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. The author passage 1 suggests that the usefulness may be limited, but how expensive it is? Nope. Take decades. Passage 1, right? It won't always succeed. Why even try? Huh. Only species too old to be recovered. I see. I see. I completely missed that. I might be rushing. I might have rushed the reading a little too much. That's line 9 and 10. Okay. Deepest 27. At its deepest level. At the most emotional level. Fundamental level. Most fundamental level. Yep. 49.05. Shrinking bio should be primarily considered a... wait, hang on. Shrinking biodiversity is the main problem, right? Primarily a anomaly? Nope. A global catastrophe, yes. Because that's on the top right. It's at the same level as the thing over here. 40 to 41. 40 to 41. Oh, 37 to 41. Yep. Let's just double check 37 to 41. Yeah. False promise. 37 great most nearly means 37 great. Are such large numbers. 49, 55. Black-footed ferrets. Okay, no look answer. Serve mainly to give examples of species we can currently introduce extinct genes to. Yep, no look answer. I got 50-15. Passage 2 completely disagrees with passage 1. Caution. Caution is not the right. Okay, expands no. Caution? Is caution the right word for this? He's more negative about it than caution. Dismisses a technology that passage 1 describes. But everything else is wrong. Yeah, everything else is wrong. 51-15. Okay, just moving on. Very strange. How will the author's passage 2 most likely respond to a prospect? 21. Prospect is probably the prospect of bringing back, like the mammoth, for example. Yeah. Unrealistic, fanciful, not useful, with concern, with disdain, with concern. Yeah. Easy solution to a difficult problem. That's in the top right. Which choice would best support the claim that the author's passage recognized that imagination soars in response to the extension technology? Let me see. Recognize that it does. Oh, because the gimmicks. Yeah, the Gee Whiz. 29-30. Okay. 52-15. All right. And that is my test. I'm not going to go back and double check. I think on the real test I definitely would. But today I'm just a little too tired. I have too many things to do. So I'm going to just let myself get a couple wrong for not double checking. I'm just too tired. So let's get into the answer choices, and I'll give any comments that I can if I do get anything wrong. I'm just so tired. Give me a second to pull up the answers on my computer so I can just double check while I'm talking to you guys. Okay, these are answer explanations. I don't think I need that. So let's go to. Okay, here we go. Okay, reading. Number 1. 1 through 5, I chose AA, BCC. AA, BCC are correct. Okay. Then I chose BB, DB. BB, DB are correct. I got 9 out of 9. Okay. Then I chose CBAA. CBAA are correct. And then I chose DDAD. DDAD are correct. And then I chose DD. DC are correct. Oh no, 18, 19. CD are correct. Okay. That question was kind of annoying, but let's look into it. I got 9 out of 10. Has increased tremendously in recent years. It summarizes the word likely is the problem, but the word summarize is also a problem, because how do you know that it increased tremendously in recent years? How can you say that? Like, that's going from, like, what is recent years, you know? In the last 6 years, it went from, 0.1 to 1.8. Like, how are you supposed to know that? It's just subjective. Especially with in reference to all of this, like, it doesn't look tremendous anymore. That seems like a poorly written question. What statement best summarizes the information presented in the graph? Also, the question says summarizes the information that is presented in the graph. And the information presented in the graph, if you want to summarize it, you should summarize the whole thing, right? And it summarizes the information presented in the graph includes projections until 2015. So I don't like the word likely. But between C and D, D seems like it's the thing that is summarizing the graph, whereas C seems like a weird subjective judgment about a part of the graph. Why is C the correct answer? That doesn't make any sense. I'm going to look at their explanation for C, and I'm going to just tell you if I agree or disagree. But I think that's kind of silly. Let's look at their explanation for D. For 18. Their explanation for 18. Here we go. What? This is the wrong explanation? Okay. No, it's correct. Choice C is the best answer. The graph shows a steady increase in digital information created and shared in recent years, beginning with less than 1 zettabyte and rising to nearly 8 zettabytes projected for 2015. Guys, created and shared has increased tremendously in recent years based on 2011. Your explanation is wrong. College Board, your explanation is wrong. College Board, your explanation said rising to nearly 8 zettabytes projected for 2015 for a graph that was written in 2011. And then your answer choice says in recent years. In recent years means 2000, at maximum it means 2006 to 2011 or 2005 to 2011. No, okay, that's a poorly written. I reject this wrong answer. This is not, C is not the best answer choice. Now, again, here their explanation of D is this. D provides a detail from the graph, but not a summary of it. No. If, yeah, I mean, that is one fair way of saying it. I don't love D either. The amount of digital information created and shared is likely to rise to almost 8 zettabytes in 2015. I guess it isn't. Okay, this is not really a summary either, I guess. But C is clearly wrong. And at least D, I feel like when you realize how wrong C is, then D feels more like a summary. But they're both wrong. They're both wrong. They're all wrong, guys. C is not the right answer. I refuse that. C is not the right answer. They made a mistake. I'm gonna write boo. Okay, and I'm moving on to the next question. Okay, the next question is 20. I chose CDA. CDA are correct. And then I chose BBD, and BBD are correct. And then I chose DAB, and 26, right? DAB, and then it's supposed to be DAA. Oh my god, I just chose the wrong one. That was a silly mistake. Okay, I was just rushing. I don't want to say dumb mistake because that makes it sound like I was thinking the wrong thing. Wrong. Circled wrong. I meant to circle A, but I circled B. So that's 8 out of 9. Okay, and then here we go. 29. B, C, D are correct. And then I chose CBDC. CBDC are correct. And then I chose DB are correct. So that's, I think, 9 questions. 9 out of 9. Over here, D, 38D is correct. And then BDBA, BDBD, sorry, 39, starting at 39. BDBA is correct, sorry. CCB are correct. And then CA are correct. Is that 10 or? That's 10, so that's 10 out of 10. And so I got 45 out of 46. 45 out of 47, but I made one mistake where I literally just circled the wrong one. Okay. Rough. Okay, so there were two questions I got wrong, and one of them I seriously think they got it wrong. And the other one was a really dumb mistake, so, I accept that one. I mean, I accept it just because I was being stupid. But everything else is, there were a couple other sketch questions that I think weren't very well worded, but at least none of them were wrong, right? So, all right, that was my PSAT, guys. And that's how I do the test. If you guys have any questions, you can join the Discord and, continue the conversation over there. And after that, besides that, I'll be streaming as much as possible. And I'm planning a little course for the August SAT. If you're a motivated student and you are you're pretty good at self-studying, but not good enough that you can do everything on your own, and you want a course to kind of help structure your studying, I'm in the middle of figuring that out, and I'll be talking about it in the next week or so. You can join the Discord if you want to chat about it with me. All right, guys, I'll see you guys in the next one. And until then, make sure to keep on growing. I'll see you. Peace.